Good morning, everybody. Dan Freggiaro here with the JRP Group, and I welcome you to this edition of Contracts and Disclosures. Here at the JRP Group, we're putting together a video library of the common disclosures and or contracts that we use in pretty much every day of our real estate lives. And we always recommend that you contact your office manager or your broker to ensure that they have a certain procedure in which these documents would be filled out. Today we're going to be talking about a form that you can find through your MLS service, and it's very, very important. It's the residential profile sheet. Usually it's made in conjunction with the listing agreement itself. And why we find this important, and we have our agents fill this out and complete it with our residential listing agreement, is because it's kind of like the seller letting you know, as far as listing the house, the specific information that the house has. There's a couple of documents that we've previously talked about, and this is another one. So as always, we're just giving a guide as to being able to fill these documents out. We're starting at the top. So on the property itself, is it one house on one lot, two houses on one lot, and so on. So you'll be filling out specifically how many houses it is, and then the county itself. So is it Stanislaus County? Is it Merced County? So you go ahead and fill that information in. And the next one is the APN, is the accessor parcel number. So as you're filling out the information to get your listing agreement, you probably had a chance to go to the tax records, or you've had a chance to talk with title, and you now have the parcel number. So the parcel number is going to be filled in there. And the next is the street number of the house itself. So that will be put in. And the next information over is the street number modifier. Is it lot number 12, 13, or 14? The next one is going to be street direction. Is it east, north, northeast, and so on? Again, this information is filled in. And then next we're going to be putting the street name itself. Is it Elm Street? Whatever it might be, you're going to fill that in. And then the suffix itself. Is it Elm Avenue? Is it a certain drive? Is it a court? So the appropriate box will be filled in. Is there a unit number? Is there a specific unit number that goes with this? The next is the city itself. Are we dealing with Modesto, Stockton, Merced? You'll go ahead and you'll fill that information in. And the next is the zip code. And don't forget, we have the 4 zip code plus information here. What is the cross street of the address? This is very important. Let's say we have an appraiser going out to our fellow real estate agents. We want to make sure that we have the cross street and the office ID. So this is going to be your office ID that you use with your real estate company. Again, you want to check with your manager to get that information. And this is the agent ID. So this is going to be your ID that you're going to be putting in. That's going to be able to trigger at MLS. This is your listing. If you happen to have a co-office, that information will be put on here as well. One thing very important, I forgot to touch on in the beginning, is a lot of this information is in red and some of the information is in black. So what is in red is going to be a requirement that you need to fill in. So as you're going along and you're filling this out, you're going to be able to see if it's in red, it is absolutely a must that MLS is going to require you to put in. So we just completed our agent ID. It's an active listing. Again, if you have a co-office, you'll be putting that information. If there's a co-agent, you'll be putting that information. And next, is there any special listing conditions? For example, is it an auction? Is it a notice of default? Is it a probate, a short sale? All of this information is anything that's appropriate. You'll go ahead and you'll click on the box. The next down is service level. Is it a limited restriction or it doesn't apply? Next up is always important, the listing price. What is the listing price of the listing that you're putting in? The next item down is the listing date itself. So this is going to be the listing contract date. And then you also have an expiration date. Always important to have an expiration date on all of your contracts. And this is going to be an on-market date. So let's say, for example, you're taking a listing. There's going to be a few days in between the actual listing date and the actual date you're putting it on market. You always want to check with MLS to ensure how many days you have until you put your listing on the MLS. But if it falls outside of the 3 days, make sure you get your waiver so you're not out of compliance with MLS at any given time. So you started the listing date, you have an expiration date, and then you also have what date it's going to be expiring on, and then the market date. What is going to be the commission type? Is it going to be a dollar amount, or is it going to be a percent of sell? And if it is going to be a percent of sell, then what is the other office going to be getting? So the commission to the selling office will be, let's say 2.5, 3, and so on. Is this a variable dual rate commission? Is anybody getting a different commission rate than you are? Yes or no? And then the primary showing instructions, are you going to be contacting the agent? Are you going to contact the caretaker, the listing office, or the owner? So it's very, very important as far as that. And the primary showing instructions itself. So who's going to be the contact person? And you have a contact information as far as what's the phone number that they'll be contacting to show your property. If it's the real estate agent, you'll be clicking on that. If it's the caretaker, so again, we're letting the agent on the other side know who is going to be the contact as far as getting into the listing itself. If there's a secondary showing instruction, that information would now be put in at this point right here. Very, very important too is the lockbox location. When people go out, sometimes let's say it's late at night, it's raining, we want to make sure that we find out where that little lockbox is. And if you get a chance, try to get it off of the ground, because sometimes it's really difficult when it's raining and people put it on a PG&E meter or something, the lockbox is laying on the ground. Let's try to get the lockboxes up where it's really, really convenient for everybody to get that lockbox and get the key open. The next information is it tenant occupied, yes or no? And one interesting thing here is they ask for what is the current rent. So you happen to have that information, go ahead and fill that out. If you have investors, it's really, really good. You can let them know I have a vacant property or I have an investor property, and this is how much the current rent is. So on page 1, you're going to have, very, very important, always get your sellers to initial everything because they're verifying that the information you provided is accurate. The next thing down is the zoning. Is it a commercial zone? Is it an agricultural zone? That information is going to go in there. The next redded out area is the area itself. So Modesto is divided up into different quadrants as far as identification. You might have seen that in the past. It has, for example, 20101 through 20105. This is just a handy way to be able to find out what area it is, because as real estate experts, you guys all know what areas are, say, around Modesto Junior College, what area is around Johansson High School. So if somebody says, I want this specific area, you immediately know this is the designated area that is put for Modesto, and you'd be able to let your clients know, absolutely, I can get you into the perfect area. The next information here is the approximate square footage. So you'll be putting this information in, and where did you get that information from? A lot of times you might go to the tax records, and the tax records might have, for example, 2,000 square foot home. But let's say the seller is saying, no, I did an add-on and I know it's 2,500 square feet. So a series of questions begin, did they do that with or without the proper permits? That's something you want to take a look into. So if you are getting the information from the assessor and it automatically fills in for you, are you getting the information from, let's say, a builder, or is that information coming from a seller? So whatever the square footage puts in, you put in, just verify as to where you got that information from. Bedrooms, how many bedrooms does it have? A 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom? Then also it talks about what are the possible bedrooms. So sometimes on the homes you come in and let's say it's got a den area that's got doors that close, but maybe it doesn't have a closet. So you might be putting that, is that a possible bedroom or not? How many bathrooms? Is it a 3 full bath? Is it 2 full bathrooms? And then the next thing is there a half bath? It doesn't have a shower, maybe it just has the sink and the commode itself. So you put that information as well. Also, more information that you'll be able to find from the tax record is what was the year the home was built. The next thing is it a brand new home? Is it under construction, or are you simply not sure as to what the year was? And then again, we talk about the year built, what was the source? Is this something that comes off of the assessor, the appraiser, and other will put that information down. Next up is the lot size. If you're in town, let's say, for example, you have the square footage, maybe it's an 80 by 100 square foot lot, so it's an 8,000 square foot lot, or let's say you have a ranchette that has 5 acres. So again, you'll be putting the lot size itself, and you're going to designate whether it's lot square foot, or let's say it's a lot with acreage. And then again, we have the lot size source. Is it from an appraiser, an architect, or was it assessor? It automatically filled in. Did you get the information from the builder or from the owner? And here it's usually a good idea to put the lot dimensions in. You can, for example, type in 80x 100 for 80 times 100, or you can just put in, for example, 5 acres. What school district is in? That's usually a really good idea too, to find out about the local schools, what schools offer what programs. So if, let's say, somebody is specifically looking for a program that Modesto High might offer, or Downey High School offers. I actually went to Davis High School myself. Put that information in as far as the school district. You also have the junior high school district, and you have the senior high school. If you are working with a new home and it has a construction estimated start date, you'll be putting that in. The estimated ending date, you'll go ahead and put that information in. And then also, if you happen to have a subdivision name, feel free to put that in as well. And one thing you'll notice here is that it is in black. So it's not necessary to put that in, but as much information as you can always put in. Keep in mind, you're always wanting to have your seller taken care of the best way possible, and you're actually providing valuable information to the buyer's agent and the buyer itself, who's looking for possibly the dream home that they've been looking for a long time. So as much information is always appreciated. If you got the information as to the builder's name, you can put the builder's name in. And if it hasn't, let's say it's a specific model name, you know, it's the mountain type home, or it's the Appalachian, you go ahead and put that information in. So now we have information about the description as to, is it an attached, the subtype itself, is an attached, detached, a modular home? Is it a loft? Is it a PUD, a zero lot line? So go ahead and put as much information. Is it a custom home? Is it a fixer-upper? You know, what type of a home is it? Is it a retirement community? Go ahead and check all boxes that apply. And then the description of the house. Is it a colonial? It's a Cape Cod. You know, sometimes people will ask, you know what, I'm specifically looking for a contemporary type home or a Mediterranean. Again, we're providing valuable information. And the construction of the home itself. Is it adobe? Is it brick, concrete block? You know, is it a wood frame? Is there stone? So again, we're going to go ahead and the construction of it. You can click as many that apply. The foundation, is it on a raised foundation? Is it a concrete slab? Go ahead and put that information in as well. And then the garage. Is it an attached garage? Is it a detached garage? Again, go ahead and everything that applies. Recreation, is it, can you put a boat there? Is there a boat dock? Is there a possibility for RV storage? Again, all this information is helpful as you're going along. And then how many garage spaces do you have? Is it a 2-car garage, a 3-car garage? Does it, you know, have some type of carport? So we're putting as much information as possible as to the garage spaces, open parking spaces as well. Are there any carport spaces? And then also, how many stories is the property? That's always very, very important. And again, we'll go ahead and always have your seller's initials at the bottom, because again, you've had a chance to go over this and the information that they're providing is accurate. So the next one down is room description. So go through, do you have, is there a den? Is there a study? Is there a dining room? Is there guest quarters? So go ahead and apply. Is there the home theater? You know, those are really, really cool if you have a huge home that's going to be entertaining. We get to the next item that's identified as red. So the dining room itself, it's dining description. Is there a room? Is there a dining family combo? Is there a formal living, a formal dining room? We'll put that information in. The kitchen description. So everything that applies. Is there ceramic counters? Is there stone on the property? Is it tile? Is it an island kitchen? Again, we're providing as much information as possible along with the appliances. What goes with the house? Range, oven, dishwasher, disposal. All of these would be filled out. We get to the master bedroom. Does it have a closet, a walk-in closet? Is it on the second floor? Everything that applies as far as the master bedroom. Again, as much information as you can put in, it's very, very important. And the same with the bathroom itself. Is there a sauna? Does it have a shower over the stall? Is it tile? Is there a tub? Everything that's applicable, we're going to fill that out. Bathrooms and the master bedroom is always very important. And then the laundry room. Is it upstairs? Is it downstairs? Does it have a laundry chute? Everything that, again, applies as far as the laundry is filled out in this information. And then the flooring itself. What type of flooring is through the house? And you can kind of be general as far as, does it have vinyl, carpeting, bamboo, marble? Again, everything that applies, you'll be filling it in. And then the air itself, is it central air? Is it a heat pump? That information along with the central heat, central air, this information is going to be filled in. And again, is it central? Is it an electric? Is there a furnace, heater on the floor? Everything that applies gets filled in. Energy features that go with the house. Do you have dual pane windows? Is it, let's say insulation has been updated. Anything that's energy efficient is very, very important on the house, certainly on PG&E bills. And then again, going forward, does it have solar screens? Again, the type of windows, a certain thermostat that's going to be filled out. Next item down is, does it have a fireplace? And then the fireplace itself. Where is it located? Possibly in the den. Is it in the dining room? This information will be filled out. Again, everything in red is going to be, absolutely required. Security features. Does it have a carbon monoxide? Most of your houses should have the carbon monoxide. Is there a fire alarm? That information gets put in. Equipment that is coming with the house. Does it have a central vacuum? Does it have an elevator in the home? How awesome would that be? So cable TV installed. Is cable TV available? Next up is, has it been recently remodeled? So this is very important as you're going through and you're letting the buyers know is what has been done with the house. Maybe they're doing a specific search on the MLS and they're looking for maybe homes that are dated in a certain, built range, like say 1990 to 2000, 2010, but they're also looking for something that's been remodeled. So you'll be checking the box that yes, the home has been remodeled, and then it will talk about when was it done? Was the bathroom, was the bedrooms, were any of these particular items, have they been rebuilt or been remodeled, let's say in the last 0 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, or a little bit older. Again, we're down at the bottom of the page, so we have our seller's initials. And then we go to the next part is as far as disability features on there. Are there grab bars? Are there kitchen cabinets? Is there any type of parking available? Then what is the exterior of the home like? Is it brick? Is it fiberglass? Is there stone on the outside? Is there stucco? Again, each that applies, we're just simply following the fill-in boxes. The next portion is going to be the roof itself. Is what type of a roof is it? Is it a metal roof? Is it a shake roof, a slate, tile? Provide that information again with the fill-in information. And then features, that miscellaneous features. So does it have a covered deck? Does it have a fire pit, a front porch? Again, all of this information you're going to be filling in. Is there a swimming pool with the property? Yes or no on the swimming pool, and then where is the location of it at? Is it on the lot? Let's say it's a private association. Is it built in? Is it fenced? Again, this information is now everything put in. Are there additional structures on the property? Does it have a gazebo, a greenhouse, and so on? And then as far as the improvements itself, are the street lights in? Does it have sidewalks, curbs, and gutters? Anything that's filled in here, again, we're passing on for information. Is the landscaping done in the front, the back? Does it have a chain link fence? The site description, is it close to a clubhouse? Is there pasture property? Is it a level property? Is there river access? So this information, again, we're going to be providing. Is it a horse property? Yes or no? And then if it is a horse property, how many stalls does it have? Does it have an arena, a barn? And then the road description, is it a public maintained road? Is it gravelled? Is it paved? The utilities, does it have 220 volts? Does it have three-phase? Is everything electric? Is it public, diesel, generator? Is there natural gas available? What type of a well domestic does it have? Is it a metered? Is there a meter on site? Is there a specific well? Is it public, public district? The sewer, is it in and connected? Does it have a public sewer? Is the sewer connected? And again, this is in red, so this is going to be required. And then the irrigation water itself. Again, we're talking about, is the meter available? Is there irrigation available? Is there an agricultural well? So this information is going to be filled out. Are there any restrictions as far as the age? Is it an over 55 park or an under 55? As far as the parking? And then anything as far as disclosures report, do you have anything? Do you have a roof inspection? Is there a TDS available? We're going to provide that to the other side. And we're again at the bottom of the page. So we've got, again, our seller initials. Is there an HOA? Is there a homeowners association? And if so, what is the association dues? And then how often do we pay them? Is it monthly, quarterly, or yearly? And then the dues itself, what exactly does it come with? You're going to be filling this information out. The HOA name, if you happen to have it. And then how many units, garage spaces. And if you want to start putting in dimensions of the master bedroom and the master living area, you can go ahead and fill this information in as well. And again, down here is if you have additional bedrooms, if you want to give them the sizes of each one of the rooms, feel free to. Again, that's in black, so it's not a requirement. And then as far as the occupant name, you'll go ahead and you'll put the occupant's name in here. The approximate square footage source, again, we talked about a little bit sooner, and you'll be putting in, was it from the appraiser, from the broker? That information gets filled in. Are there any specific bonds or assessments that you're aware of? You'll be checking the box yes or no. And then if you have the information, let's say, for example, it's a house that might be, or the loan is assumable, is the existing financing on it? And then the terms itself, what type of terms is your seller looking for? Is he looking for cash, conventional? Is he okay with FHA? Put that information in as well. And then the possession, once we get ready to close of escrow, is it by an agreement? Is it on the date of recording? Again, this information is put in. The type of listing, is it an exclusive right? Is it an exclusive agency? Maybe it's a net listing or an open listing. And then this information will be put in to help MLS and also yourself as far as getting is who's going to provide the picture. Are we going to be putting it onto the internet itself? And these two boxes will be being checked yes or no. Again, you have seller initials on the bottom. And then we move on. So the property description here is going to be, this is an amazing 3-bedroom, 2-bath near Johansson High School. It's a one of a kind with a swimming pool. You're going to put that information in. And let's say there's some confidential remarks. This is something that you want the agents to know. This is going to be a probate sale, or there's something specific that you want to be able to convey to your buying agent. Put that information in. That way they'll be able to react accordingly. And directions to the property is always important. Sometimes, you have to go down a certain street and go around the corner to get back onto the same name street again. So be very specific in putting in these information as far as the directions to the property. And then we're going to have the full signatures of your sellers. Make sure your broker signs it, and then as a salesperson as well. So again, we thank you for just spending a little bit of time on the fill-in of the property profile. Again, we're going to use this in conjunction with our listing agreement. We want to make sure that we get all the red areas that are filled in, and we hope that this is going to help you as you're going forward in your real estate career. We appreciate your time and thank you.